It says, I got a little message right there. It says, you can now love a super chat. Huh. Okay. What does that mean? Help fans feel recognized with a heart on the super chat. Well, I'll be darned. Well, you guys, I don't have to go through that because y'all all know. Y'all already got my heart. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And speaking of heart, I want to give a special thanks to Mary. I'm not going to say her last name, but she sent me something wonderful in the mail, and but something more precious than her sacrifice of love is a letter she wrote, a very intense, well thought out letter that really was able to recognize all of the things that us as conservatives and content providers have to endure when it comes down to hopscotching through all of the traps and stuff that the big tech and the media and all of them and the resistance. So her just recognizing my dedication and she stressed her appreciation for what I do. Who writes letters? I mean, it wasn't typed, y'all. It was written out, handwritten, man, like old school. I don't even think the kids nowadays even know how to write in cursive. They don't know how to make that Q in cursive. You ask them to sign their name, like, can I just put an X? But she wrote a whole letter, handwritten, beautifully. And I want to tell her thank you. So if you're watching, I appreciate it. Now, hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. I hope y'all had a great weekend because we're about to get in here and crack some skulls today, y'all. All right, so y'all might want to get loose for this one. I got some whoppers to go over tonight. So the question is, could the walls be closing in on the Biden crime family? Who knows, y'all? So before we touch base on that, can everybody hear me on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube? Everybody good? I see people commenting, so I'm assuming that y'all can hear me. So let me get loose so we can get loose on these folks and all that garbage, okay? Say thanks, Kevin, for coming on board. Yeah, I gave y'all the weekend off. I ain't bother y'all. I was like, man, they out there doing whatever it is they doing. We'll go ahead and let them kick it for the weekend, and we'll catch up with them on Monday. So let's get it. Yeah. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Dang on it. And I feel like beating my chest after dealing with all this nonsense. Now, before we get into this, if you have not joined my text alert, so I can send you guys messages to let you know periodically, I'm spacing them out. So if you haven't gotten a text about this one, don't worry, they're coming. I'm saving them for the big ones. Because they charge me per text. See, so I gotta use them sparingly. And I hope that I have so many people that will text and become a part of this that the money is no longer even a factor. I'll be like, your money means nothing to me, okay? It's not even a factor, man. How much? Huh? You think I care about your money, man? So I wanted to get to that point. So please, the number is 1-877-931-2396. And I see Dawn is on the wheels of steel tonight, and she just put it also in the super chat. So thank you so much, Dawn. I don't often give you enough credit and appreciation as well. Dawn has been on it, man. So I want to thank her for being there. And I appreciate it. And y'all, I'm giving y'all a shout out, man. We can all celebrate, all right? Takes all of us, man. Takes all of us. So let's get into what's going on around this country, man. Starting off with Creepy's popularity.
Titled, Why is Joe Biden so unpopular? Andrew Romano writes that at this point in his term, Joe Biden is the second most unpopular president in modern U.S. history.
Wait a minute. Hold up. You telling me Creepy Sleepy is only coming in second place? I thought he was an overachiever. He should come in at first. I mean, heck, this man single-handedly ruined the country in less than 3 years. So, yeah, he's pretty raggedy. He should be number one. I'm shocked he's number two.
Jimmy Carter was the first.
Wow.
Romano cites polling data from 538, where Biden's approval rating 910 days into his term stood at just 39%.
The Quinnipiac poll this week found nearly 6 in 10 Americans still disapprove of his handling of the economy. Why is that, and what does he have to do to turn that around? Well, a lot of it's about messaging, of course.
Oh, do y'all see this big old canary? You see this big banana peel up there? You see this yellow bus right on that screen right there? Do you see Big Bird up here? Well, a lot of this has to come down to messaging. Okay, so let's see what Nasty has to say about Creepy Sleepy.
Of course. I'm so proud of this president.
I'm so proud of those eyebrows. That's what I'm proud of. That I can't even close my eyes. I have surprise eyes. See? They're always open. I can't check them. But wait, just one moment. Before we finish this interview, this is juice. Yes, that's good. That's good, Nasty. Now, let's continue here, Nasty Mushmouth Monkey Paw Hands Pelosi.
In the 2 years that we were in the majority, working with him,
he
broke all records.
Yeah, you did.
On the level with a Lyndon Johnson or a Franklin Roosevelt in terms of the caliber of legislation that he passed for the good of the people, lowering prescription drugs.
What is Nasty talking about? She's speaking that nasty language. That's right. Pleased to meet me. So now here it is. She's talking about he broke records. He did. Yep. That man broke all kind of records. He is the president that failed the most. He definitely carries the you speak the most gaffes. That's definitely a record. Let me see. I destroyed the whole economy quicker than anybody I've ever seen. That's a record. That man has broken. Oh, whoa. I forgot this one. The most corrupt president that ever occupied the White House. That's a record. There you go. First president that walks around in full-blown dementia. That's a record. That's right. So let's go ahead and finish hearing this banana peel try to glorify Joe Biden and all of his accomplishments.
Cutting in half, as you indicate, cutting in half unemployment.
So why isn't the American
almost
public giving credit
14 million jobs?
Well, I'll tell you why. You hear that? Well, why is it that the American people, find him so unpopular? Because everything Nancy Pelosi is telling everybody is gaslighting. See, just because you get out there and you say he's done all of this and that, don't make it true. That's what it is. People are going to respond based on what they're experiencing. I don't care what you tell me, man. The point is, I see how life has changed from Trump to Creepy Sleepy and record-breaking time. So unless you're delusional or unless you're just so sold out to the Democrat Party that you don't care about your own personal finance, your own personal freedoms, all of those things, unless you don't care about that and you just straight, I'm Democrat, I don't care. So just because of Democrats in office, I think things are better. No, you got to use a rubric, man. Things suck. He also broke a record on that border. The most illegal immigrants coming in here ever under that guy's watch. I wonder why Nasty's not talking about those records. Let's continue.
There has to be message. It is a legitimate question. I ask myself all the time, too.
You hear that? Yeah. She's confused, as if she don't know. But see, Nasty played a part in destroying the country as well. She definitely is a number one stunner when it comes to helping destroy this whole country, along with the rest of the whole Democrat Party. So, we want to see, why people might look at Joe and say, in spite of what Nasty Pelosi said, we're going to go ahead and have to evaluate why people don't find him to be popular ourselves. Let's see if we can find some evidence.
In order to do that, we have to make sure our vital defense supplies are getting the inputs and supplies they need to produce and protect.
So that might just be a one-off. It's cool. Everybody has a tongue tie every blue moon. So I'm not going to be nitpicking, okay? So I'm going to let that one go, okay?
Provide the full capacity. And to protect the privacy of sensitive health information.
Did I hear that again? Did I just hear protect again? Now, wait a minute. Once might have been a mistake, but I done heard two protects. You know what? Maybe I'm tripping. Let's go ahead and continue.
She's fighting for seniors to protect their Social Security and Medicare.
There it is again. What? Okay, now I'm starting to get concerned. See, because I would think if you put this man in office, he should be able to say protect. Protect. So now we're 3 protects in, right? So 3 protects. All right, protect.
My first year in office, we protected more lands and waters.
Four bedecks?
Do it to protect those more vulnerable than you.
Five bedecks? Now I'm starting to question if he can even say protect. That's what I'm starting to question. I can't have a president representing the country running around talking about, well, protect. We protect. So I'm concerned. That could be a reason why people are concerned about this guy and don't think he represents the country like he should. Because see, other leaders are looking at him running around, we protect. That's a problem. So that's 4 or 5 predicts.
And to protect the participating workers and retirees is start with the unions to do it together. May God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
May God protect our troops.
Okay, he got protect right, but then he slid in an S. May God protect our troops. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll make you unpopular. Let's continue.
May God protect our troops. Thank you all so very much. God bless America. May God protect our troops.
Oh, God. Can we just... May God protect our troops. And the bad part, that's the best he can do at this point. You already know it. They're happy just to get away with that. I'm sure the people on the teleprompter was like, it's okay. He got close. He hit us with the protect about 8 times. But at least he's closer to protect. He's just adding an S. So we can live with that. So there it is. It went from protect to protects.
May God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
I know Jill got to be embarrassed. I mean, I don't know how she walks. She looks, honestly, if you catch her every once in a while, she looks miserable. She looks like she's more of a caretaker than she is a first lady. But I guess the money, the hunger for power, and all of that stuff is just greater. It's greater than the inconvenience of babysitting Joe and listening to this dude talking about protects our troops. Oh, you know what? Protect.
And you've heard me say it all so many times. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. So
may God protect our troops, y'all. Woo-wee.
All I want to say is God bless you all. May God protect our troops. We're the United States of America. There's nothing we can't do if we do it together.
Do it, Joe.
God bless you all.
Do it.
And may God protect our troops.
I wasn't ready for the last one, y'all. So wait. Let me get serious. This isn't a laughing matter. This is really a concern. He is our alleged commander-in-chief. So wait, we went from protect to protects to prect. He just gave up on the whole word. All right, let's eat.
Pennsylvania jobs.
Stick it, Joe. Stick it.
She's increased the minimum wage. Crack down on wage theft.
It's coming, y'all.
Protected trafficked workers.
Protected trafficked workers.
Here today, workers of 9 different unions.
Wait a minute, wait.
And produce and protect and provide the full capacity.
Okay, go. Wait, where was the protects?
For the unions to do it together. May God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
Protects our
May God
troops.
protect our troops.
May God protect our troops. Thank you all so very much. God bless America. May God protect our troops.
May God protect our troops.
May God bless you all.
God
May God
protects our
protect our
troops.
troops.
May God protect
God
our
bless you
troops.
all, and may God protect our troops.
troops.
And you've heard me say it all so many times.
What?
God bless you all. May God
Protects our troops.
So all I want to say is God bless you all. May God protect our troops. We're the
Here it
United
is. It's
States
coming.
of
Here it is.
America.
The new word.
There's nothing we can't do if
All
we
the
do
way made
it
up.
together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
May God protect our troops. Was it close? No, Joe. It started with a P, though, right? Yes, it started with a P. Good. I was close. So, may God protect our troops, y'all. Yep, I'm embarrassed. That man need to go. He should have never been in office. But wait, let's see.
God protect our troops.
Protect our troops,
God
y'all.
protect our troops.
Protect our troops.
And I'm going to protect Pennsylvania jobect, period.
Okay.
She's increased the minimum wage, cracked down on wage theft, protected trafficked workers.
Protract it. Retract it. Wait a minute. Retract it. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, man. If I was in a coma and I woke up and somebody was describing where we're at as a nation, I would be like, dude, is this a movie you telling? Is this a novel or something? Yeah, man, we the United States of America. Yeah. And may God protect our troops. I'm like, what? Did you just say protects? Yeah, what do you mean? I just said, may God protect our troops. Where'd you get that from? Well, yeah, we switched over to a new language while you were in a coma. It's called Jobadin. We all speak it now. May God protect our troops.
Protected trafficked workers.
Here today, workers of 9 different unions
Give me some more, Joe.
will start building a vessel called the Acadia.
Huh?
It's going to place heavy rocks at the base of the offshore wind project.
Okay.
To stabilize them when they put these down.
Yeah.
And it's going to project. Protect it against erosion.
Too many P's, man. You know you can't give this man too many P's. Can't give him too many J's. All right? You can't mix the J's and the P's up. That man right there, you give him too many of those and he'll mess it up. Don't give him no W's because then it turns into whir. Yeah, see everything. Yeah, sound like a car trying to start. Or Scooby-Doo. One of the two. But that could be why he's pretty unpopular. So let's see, y'all. The crackhead is back in the news. I'm talking about Creepy's son. So Creepy and the crackhead is back in the news and they're under fire, which they should have been under fire. So we're going to see the latest news concerning Creepy and the crackhead. And then, surprisingly, the fake news actually covered this on one channel. Y'all never believe this, man. MSNBC covered the story of all the whistleblowers and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get to their coverage too. But let's go ahead and see what's going on lately with Creepy and the crackhead. Oh, well, look at this. Oh, what are those pictures?
Also, this Hunter Biden is expected to plead guilty to a pair of misdemeanor tax charges this Wednesday. So it comes as a source close to Hunter reveals he called his dad, the vice president at the time,
Wait a minute.
dozens of times to impress his overseas partners.
What? You mean the one that said, look, I've never talked to my son about his business. Then you know what? What you should be asking is, why is Trump so corrupt? That one? You talking about the father that swore up and down that he never helped his son get a job over in Ukraine and then challenged that old guy to some push-ups to solve the matter? That guy? Can't be talking about that dude. Maybe it's another father.
The New York Post with another biting front page saying, phone a friend. Lucas Tomlinson live at the White House. He has more. Hi, Lucas.
Hi, Dana. President Biden has long denied that he spoke to his son about his overseas business dealings, but today that claim is being refuted by New York Post columnist Miranda Devine, writing, quote, Hunter Biden would dial into his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, on speakerphone into meetings with his overseas business partners, according to testimony expected before Congress this week from Devin Archer.
What? Is that the Devin Archer that's his bullet? Oh, man. So you telling me Hunter was over there like, you guys need to talk to my dad? Yes, we don't trust you, Hunter, because you're crackhead. We don't know if your words is true or not. We need to talk to the big guy, okay? All right, I'll call him. Hold on for a second. Hello, Dad. Hunter, are you smoking again? No, not much. I mean, a little, but not all the way. Hey, look, I'm here. I got you on speaker with the Ukrainians. Are you kidding me? So the man is making calls to the Ukrainians and putting his dad on speaker. And his boy, Devin Archer, is about to testify against him. Now, this could be a bombshell, y'all. If this happens, it should stick the dagger in him. But see, here's the problem. Can you imagine if the news had been doing their real job on this? This man, first of all, he'd have never made it into office. Secondly, he would have been impeached like 17 times. If they were really bringing to light all of the evidence that's been piled up that we've been seeing before he even was installed, if they would have did their job, if the FBI would have done their job, but they did do their job. Their job was to protect this guy. And the DOJ and all of that, I mean, they bubble wrapped him. And of course, the fake news job is to protect him as well. But wait until you see how much evidence we have piled, because I'm bringing in a special guest at the end, how much evidence we have piled up against this dude. And if the news was really doing it, man, this dude would be impeached like 7 months ago, easily. So now we got Devin Archer coming in and blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
The first son's former best friend, Archer, 48, who is facing jail for his role in a $60 million bond fraud, is scheduled to testify to the House Oversight Committee. Now, last week, for anybody on vacation, 2 IRS agents testified they wanted more serious felony charges leveled against Hunter Biden, but were blocked by higher-ups in the chain of command. The agents say they never saw that FBI document from an informant, alleging that both Joe Biden and Hunter each received $5 million from the head of that Ukrainian energy company, Burisma, in order to get Ukraine's top prosecutor fired, who was investigating the company.
Now, how many whistleblowers do you need? How much evidence do you need? First of all, where are the impeachment articles? They should have been drawn up, okay? Not just for him, but for Christopher Wray and for, of course, Mayor Garlick. And then throw Mucus in there too. Throw him in there. Throw the whole dang on party in there, okay? The whole party. It's like a preacher in Cincinnati years ago was up there preaching, and his last name was Damn. And after he got done preaching, the host got up and he grabbed the mic and he said, I'd like to thank Reverend Damn for coming out and the whole damn family. Everybody cracked up. He didn't even realize it. Like, what's so funny? Oh, yeah, that did sound funny. The whole damn family. This whole cabinet needs to be impeached. Now, I don't know if you can do that, but darn it, I sure enough would try. Get me an impeachment blanket so I can throw it over all of them. An impeachment dragnet. They all need to go. Because at the end of the day, he's protected by all of these folks anyway. That man don't know what's going on around him. He's just like, save my life. Don't let me get in trouble. So here he is now. All of this evidence is coming out. All of these whistleblowers. And yet the media is still not reporting it. And when I say media, I'm talking about the fake news.
The IRS agents say they were not allowed to interview the family and say Hunter was tipped off about a key search during the investigation. Here's Jim Jordan yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures.
I think we're at the important final stage of this whole thing, which is who are you going to believe? The two whistleblowers whose testimony has been consistent, or the Garland-Biden Justice Department, which can't get their story straight?
Now, we don't know when Devin Archer is supposed to appear before the House Oversight Committee. Of course, this is the last week Congress is in session for that August recess.
Don't wait. Don't y'all wait, man. Y'all see what happened to Epstein. Y'all see what happened to the other whistleblowers. Don't give these folks time to make adjustments, to launch a smear campaign, to bring up some charges or threaten him, or who knows? He might come down with a sudden case of depression and decide to suicide himself. We don't know. We don't know. So when you come up with a whistleblower like that, I'm saying stop the press. Don't go. We ain't going to. Everybody come back. Come on back. Bring him in now. Get the evidence up front. Then there's no reason to go after the guy after that. Get his testimony on record. But who knows? Who knows who could get to this dude by the time these cats come back from, recession or whatever they're doing. So don't wait. That's my point. But still, if they're able to pull that off, it should be damning. But now let's continue.
I have another New York Times reporter calling
Here he
about
is, the crackhead.
my representation of literally, Dr. Patrick Koh, the spy chief of China.
The spy chief
We started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded. It is now missing. And I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me.
Name me as a witness without telling me. And who else did he name?
In a criminal case, and my father, without telling me.
And see, that could be the reason why Devin Archer is like, man, you know what? I'm looking at jail time. This guy's still running around. This man right here is getting plea deals. This guy and his dad, really his dad, of course, was the mastermind behind it. But, this guy was dirty, if not dirtier than me. But I'm going to jail while Hunter's skipping around, still smoking a pipe. So with that being said, I'm not surprised Devin Archer is willing to come out. It's like, wait, whoa, why this dude gets a slap on the wrist and I'm going to jail? So yeah, here's Hunter because he's the worst criminal ever. You don't make crackheads criminals. They should be stealing low-end things, okay? Yeah, you might be able to say, all right, a crackhead broke in a car and stole a cell phone and sell it for some crack. You don't put him over a multi-million-dollar operation. That's too much money for his habit, okay? That crack messing with his head when you are on the phone talking to whomever and you're spewing up evidence like this. That crack caused him to go in and drop that lit top off in there. You sir, when do you want to come back and get it? What? What? Get what? Oh, yeah, the laptop. You know what? I give you a call. Probably walked away like, where'd I leave that laptop? You don't leave that type of corruption in the hands of a crackhead. But Joe did.
Okay, so this is a bombshell. So Hunter Biden, over 24 times in the presence of his former best friend, this Devin Archer guy,
Devin Archer.
he would just call up his dad and say, "Hey, Dad, say hello to Burisma," just like that. Put him on speakerphone.
So disturbing. What we have found with the information.
Look at that, guys. Remember, I don't know nothing. Never spoke to my son's business partners. What is this? Are you photoshopped in there or something, Joe? Is that not you, creepy? Huh? There's Devin, and there's his son's business partner in Ukraine, and there's Joe, and then there's the crackhead. Now, see, my question, this right here, one picture, proves that man's a liar. That man's a liar. So my thought is, why didn't the media jump on him like a spider monkey off grip? When they brought him on all of those networks to clear his name and to divert us away from looking into this, and he's talking about, I never met and talked to my son's business partners. Soon as this picture came out, they should have said, liar, liar, pants on fire. Why are you in this picture with your son's business partners? You came on our network and said, don't know nothing. And we just nodded along. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. Now we find out he's lying, and that's just the picture. That's just the picture. So we're going to see how much more evidence Joe has out there that should land him and some impeachment. Then right after that, and the slammer.
Information that's came forward with the whistleblowers. Example, the WhatsApp message that apparently Hunter Biden was seated next to his father, waiting for a phone call from a Chinese foreign business partner, and said, we're here, looking forward to your phone call. It shows that, in fact, President Biden did not just not know about his son's business dealings. What? He then reverted in saying that he is not involved in his son's business dealings. But let's think.
See how you walk that back? You see how you walk that back? Once that picture dropped, I'm not involved in them. So it started off, don't know nothing about his, ain't ever talked to him, never met his business partners. Now, when you start seeing all these lies exposed, you can assume that the rest of them are going to be lies coming right after that. The man is compromised on the small stuff first. First of all, never talked to, never met, never asked about, don't know anything about my son's business partners. Then the picture comes up. Now, I never was involved in my son's business dealings. See how the lie starts to evolve and adapt and change, and yet the media just accept it. They just say, okay, well, now he's telling the truth. Well, they knew he was lying up front. That's the whole point. They brought him out there so they can help him with the lie, to validate the lie, to cover up all of the real corruption by allowing him to come out and lie, and then y'all pretend that he's telling the truth. That's what it is. So if they were really about it, they would have started saying, excuse me, Mr. Creepy, back in this date, you said that you didn't even know yourself. Well, yeah, no, I was lying. I mean, no, I don't remember.
Think about this. Just what the whistleblowers highlighted in the IRS guys, the IRS whistleblowers. Hunter Biden hadn't paid taxes of $400,000 from Burisma alone in the tax year 2014.
Wow. Now I bet you if I was 4,000 or 5,000 in the hole with my taxes, they'd probably give me about 35 years. Mm-hmm. I'll be like, wait, give me a minute. I'm gonna run down to the, to the loan, the loan place, hawk a couple vehicles and get the money. I'll be right back. And you still taking me to jail? But you're gonna let me go get the. Well, why am I getting the money? I'm not going to get the money then. Just take me to jail. I ain't paying y'all. But my point is, this man right here owed like $400,000 in taxes. Yeah, some other people $40 and the man be knocking on their door. I'm just concerned.
Which the statute of limitations expired on.
Oh.
Imagine this. They highlighted in that story that Hunter Biden was paid $83,000 a month from Burisma for his expert advice. The people in my home district, their average income for a year is $40,000.
Hunter Biden was the facilitator for Jim Biden and Joe Biden.
What?
He was the one that was pulling all this money in. Everybody in the Biden family is either getting direct payments or their living expenses and their luxuriation is being covered
By who?
by Hunter Biden or by one of these companies. And then the last piece of this is that the FBI knew about this. They were getting information from their confidential human source. IRS, the International Tax Fraud Department, where Mr. Shapley and Mr. Ziegler work, they were investigating this. And somewhere in Maine justice, they were slow-walking these investigations, stonewalling these investigations, letting the statute of limitations run out on these investigations.
Interesting. But with Trump, they're running over cones. They're knocking old ladies over with their baskets as they're crossing the street. Oh dear. Blow the basket up. They're zigzagging through traffic to try to stop Trump. His investigations go like this, y'all. They're all over it. Let's not waste no time. You seen those raggedy Democrats with that J6 hearing? They put that sloppy mess together so quick. Unbelievable. Now, granted, they don't have to rely on evidence, so they can do that. They can throw slop together. Just like they throw their campaigns together because they don't have to provide information for their low IQ voters. They don't need to come out there and convince them why they should vote for them. They don't have to go out there and speak about no policies. It's like, man, policies be damned. I'm going out there and throw some racism on it, sprinkle a little Russian on it, give them some of that little sexism, and you know what, your rights are being rolled back, white nationalism. There you go. Now go down and vote for us so we can continue abusing you. So now here's Byron Donalds pointing out how Hunter Biden was really, unfortunately, being used. Now, I know it sounds like Hunter was using his dad, but let's be real. His dad was using him. That's what it was. Because Hunter, there's no way came up with any of these things on his own. Joe Biden was the one. So yeah, Hunter's just a victim. That's why he was always depressed. But here we go. Let's finish up what Byron Donalds is talking about.
And in my mind, that is clearly obstruction of justice from the Department of Justice.
Look,
so they let that run out. They let the clock run out on some of the stuff that Hunter should have been thrown in a slammer for. Why would they do that? I mean, we're about to find out that these folks are just as guilty as creepy. The FBI, DOJ, and even a couple people that was around during the Trump administration. Heck, they knew about it too. Key people, and did nothing. See, so yeah, I got a problem with a couple of them too. So let's go ahead and see what she's talking about, because this is the lady who cracked the story and got banned from Twitter. So let's see, get her opinion on it.
Like the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that are just coming together bit by bit. And I think it's still early days in the investigation, but what we can say is that there is something very rotten in the FBI
rotten
and
to the
DOJ. We're seeing from the IRS whistleblowers that US Attorney David Weiss's investigation that went on for 5 years in Delaware into Hunter Biden was stymied and obstructed all along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it'd take them like 5 minutes to prosecute me. That's right. Yeah. Once they even give me the subpoena, I'll be walking out like, okay, when is my date to come back to court? Wait, it's right now? I just got the subpoena. This says I got to go straight to court. But not this guy. This guy got 5 years to Putin fart around and drag it out. Unbelievable.
They were never shown this explosive FBI 1023 form, which is a confidential human source reporting what he was told by this Ukrainian oligarch who, I mean, you can't take everyone's word for what they say, but the source was a long-term, decade-long, trusted FBI source. Yeah. And so you would expect that the FBI would have investigated that when it first came to them in 2017, and then it was bolstered with another interview in mid-2020. And the Democrats are putting out that form.
Look at the dummy. Look at the dummy now. You see that cracked smile he got? That crooked cracked smile? So, yeah, that guy, that crackhead right there. So all of this evidence sitting around, just lingering, tucked away, nice and neat by the FBI and the DOJ. So there's no way that they're going to, I don't care how much evidence we come out with about Joe Biden right now. There's no way that they're going to prosecute him because they also are complicit. They'd have to prosecute themselves. If they do prosecute Hunter and his dad, then I would just simply use the defense of These cats can't prosecute me. They had all this information a long time ago. They're just as dirty as me. Why do you think they didn't bring it out? Why did the Republicans have to dig this out? Why did we have to have 17 whistleblowers pop up out of nowhere when these folks had all this information for a long time? Now they want to get crazy. Now they want to get judgmental. Yeah, I hit them with the Nino Brown. I'm not the person you should be looking at. See, the real leader of this cabal is boom. So they're all protecting themselves along with Joe. And I'm glad it's coming out, but we already know unless power changes, most likely nothing's going to happen to these people. Now, here's the crazy part about this. If he gets impeached, now y'all understand, I'm going to give the person that I'm bringing in at the end is going to give a very edited breakdown of how much corruption and how much evidence there is against Joe. And if they were to impeach this man, I guarantee you with that data, all that information, I guarantee you the Senate and those Democrats would not impeach this guy. I don't care how black and white the evidence is. It will also reveal how corrupt and evil and okay they are with this type of corruption. They would rather look complicit in allowing this dude to walk than to break rank and impeach him. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they could pick off a couple, Joe Manchin maybe, or, who knows. But I doubt if they will impeach this guy. But that doesn't mean don't try. Go after him, man. Make him defend himself. Because right now his defense is, didn't do it. Want to do some push-ups. Come on, man. Facts. That's his defense right now.
Fully investigated and found to be, not credible by the U.S. Attorney in Pittsburgh. That's not true. Bill Barr told the U.S. Attorney to have a look for anything he could find that backed up some allegations that were coming in. They were flooding in, actually, in 2020 about Joe Biden and bribery. And Scott Brady got his team to look at it. They assessed that it was credible and passed it on to David Weiss, and yet the IRS criminal investigators there said that they and the FBI criminal investigators never saw it. So that's...
What? They didn't give it to the... See? I'm telling you, man. That's why you got to do things yourself if you're trying to clean house. It's sad to say that, but I did a video that live streamed the other day where I showed y'all government employees that were talking about how they can stonewall, act as if they don't know how to do stuff, drag it out, give their superiors some crazy excuse of whatever, knowing that they don't have the time and, all that stuff to work on the details. It's like, oh, well, we're out here in the department of whatever. You get a couple social justice warriors and they get that information. You know what? Let's sit on it. Yeah, thanks for putting it on my desk. I'll get it over there to them. And it never got there. So Bill Barr, if he really wanted to expose corruption, he should have been like on the phone, like, do it now while I'm on the phone. I'll wait. Send it. Send me an email confirming you sent it and received it. So I guess you just give it away and just say, I hope they're doing stuff. You already had the information. Why is it always getting kicked out to this department, to this, whatever? And let's send it down to, I'm like, no. It gets lost in all of that. So if you really wanted to solve the problem when you got all the evidence, do it yourself, like what the Republicans are doing right now. No need for a special counsel. A special counsel would drag this mess out for another 4 years and we'd be wondering, whatever happened with that? You see how long it took the Durham report and the Mueller report. So how about let's get all the evidence together, which we got. And I guarantee you a special counsel ain't going to get more than what these Republicans are getting right now. All the whistleblowers. We got so much information. And I'm saying, why aren't we pulling the trigger on this? What are the missing puzzle pieces that's preventing them to coming to the microphone and saying, today we're announcing articles of impeachment against Creepy and the whole crew. Creepy and the crew needs to go.
Of the influence peddling scheme that Joe Biden has conducted during his vice presidency through his family that netted millions of dollars from China and Ukraine and Russia and so on. That's a big scandal.
China,
and I think
Ukraine,
even
Russia.
bigger than Watergate is the cover-up.
Ooh, I love it, Miranda. Y'all hear that? Yes, we all know Creepy is corrupt and his crackhead too. But it's really more concerning that the intel community and that DOJ is corrupt. because those are the entities that have all the power. See, Creepy don't have no power. Creepy right now is walking around hoping that they don't throw him under the bus because they've been his source of protection thus far. And he's probably going, I hope the heat don't come down on him too much. It might throw me under the bus. But those are the people who control it. You don't think that, Raggedy Ray, when they got that information, wasn't like, we could throw him under the bus, or we could keep this for a rainy day. Just in case Creepy's brains come back and he grows a conscience and decide to act up. Creepy, don't forget this. Remember these phone calls? We still got them. It's in the closet. Remember this laptop, Creepy? We'll store it in the closet just in case you get some bright ideas. What? Oh crap. Somebody got hold to the fact that we've been holding on to this and ain't said nothing about it. Now that makes them just as guilty as Creepy. So let's see then what, oh shoot. Oh man. Y'all remember this? Now understand all this information we got about Creepy in that phone call and Donald Trump asking about his corruption in Ukraine. And you know who came out? Big Bird, and said, let's impeach him. Listen to this.
I was very careful about bringing any impeachment forward. But when the president made that phone call in terms of Ukraine, there was no choice.
No choice.
We had no choice. He must be impeached.
So y'all see Nasty come out. I was very careful. She was licking those nasty chops. That mush mouth. That's the same mush mouth that said, you know what? I wish Trump was down here right now. I'd punch him. I'd punch him right in the face. That's right. I'd punch him. I'd go to prison. I'll go to jail and be happy. That same mush mouth. She was so excited to impeach Trump, and here she is. I had no choice. Just when I heard that phone call, I just said to myself, Nasty, do what Nasty does. Impeach. So Nasty said she had no choice, y'all. Now you got to understand, that's no evidence. You telling me that phone call was worth impeachment. So Republicans, if they were able to go after Trump based on that raggedy behind excuse, they had no evidence. Y'all got it all. Fire everything. Y'all don't even need as much evidence as y'all have, considering I had no choice. I had to impeach. That right there was a bogus impeachment. And guess what? Trump deserves to have that impeachment expunged because he was dead right about that crackhead and Creepy. Dead right. And they impeached him for being right to stop him from snooping around that evidence. So let's see if the media is covering it, guys. All the fake news finally covered it.
Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of...
Oh, God. Can we consider these two news? Or these two puppets? We got Beaker and the Bubblehead. Beaker and the Bubblehead. So now, here's Beaker and the Bubblehead. They're covering it, but let's see how they have their take on it, okay? Because they're hard-hitting journalists. Yeah, man. They're all about spewing out truth. Don't you forget that. Don't forget Rachel Madcow. We have to be very careful about what we air. There's a price to pay for lying. So let's see if that price is going to get paid now.
Iowa released a redacted FBI memo yesterday that some Republicans say proves Joe Biden and his son, Hunter, took bribes.
Many of these same Republicans also, I'm sure, believe in Jewish space.
Okay. See? Right there. That's it. For a minute, I almost said, well, maybe they just covering it. No, see, right there. The sarcasm kicks in. We already know their agenda. Those two puppets is out there to cover up this mess. They said, Mika and Joe, we need y'all to go ahead and put on your red dress and throw on those high heels. These two came right out there with that dress all the way up to prostitute themselves, to try to clear up this whole thing about Joe. So now they're going to cover it, but look how they're covering it. Isn't it odd that their interpretation of all this evidence is totally different than ours? How do we all hear this evidence and come to two different conclusions? And that man lets me know he's coming in to destroy the narrative right now, to create a new narrative, to manipulate the minds of the 2 or 3 folks still watching MSNBC. So we can't let y'all find out the real truth. So off grid, I know your intentions. The fact that he came out talking about they probably believe in, I'm going, here comes the hit job. Here comes the assassins. Let's see what they got to say.
Involves allegations made by a confidential informant in 2020 about Hunter's alleged business dealings when he served on the board of Ukrainian energy company Burisma. Those claims have never been verified.
What? Do you hear this? Blatant lying and gaslighting. They might as well not have covered it. They'd have been better off not covering it. So these blatant false allegations about Hunter Biden's involvement with Burisma that he set on up. I mean, these have not been verified. Are you kidding me? It's so funny, man, that they're relying on us being totally ignorant when we're listening to them. You got to have heard this for the first time to believe it. You like if you never heard anything about this and you turn on Joe and Mika, I can see you going, what? I didn't even know this stuff was happening. But if you sniffed around this whole story and saga for about 3 seconds, off grip that statement alone, I'm going, did y'all just try to say none of that's been verified? Hunter's butt was sitting right on there. I mean, he did a full-blown interview talking about it. I was on the board. I probably wouldn't have got it if it wasn't for my dad, my last name.
Even some top Republicans have acknowledged they cannot confirm whether the information is true. Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland, the top Democrat on the House Oversight panel, yesterday picked apart the claims in a lengthy statement, arguing in part, quote,
I cannot believe they're using their own, how should I say it? These people right here, the Democrats control these fake networks. So it's circular. It's like, all right, guys, pretend like you're just randomly calling on me or using my comments. I'm going to throw out some comments. They don't make any sense to folks who know what's going on. But I need you guys to make it make sense to your audience, because if we lose them, we lose everything. We still need to hang on to some bubbleheads and have them really believing that Joe Biden and his son are the victims and the Republicans are just making this up and they're just picking with them and stuff like that. So now they're going to use the raggediest source right here. Like this man with that poodle that got cut off or something happened up top. I'm pretty sure it might be growing back under there. It's going to come back. It's hard to keep the poodle down. It's hard to keep the poodle down. But nonetheless, this man right here, one of the worst sources ever, and they're about to quote him, talking about he dismantled the narrative. So let's just see how he dismantled it.
This FBI document records the unverified, secondhand, years-old allegations relayed by a confidential source who stated he could not provide the veracity of these allegations.
There's the poodle. That's him when he had the poodle on top of his head. Yeah. Now, so here he is trying to say that the confidential source said, see, here's the point that I'm making. The FBI never even looked into it. See, this is what the poodle's not telling us. Okay, so here's the point. You give it to the FBI. The FBI knows this guy is a legitimate source that they've been using for years. And the FBI says, thanks. I think they talked to him twice. Thanks. Somebody said Jamie Rat Skin. That's exactly what he is. Rat Skin. So the FBI gets it and throws it in a closet somewhere. And he's going, well, the source said, you know what, he can't verify the whatever allegation. The FBI should have followed up, but they didn't. He said, look, man, I'm going to hand it off to y'all. Take it and run with it. And they said, thanks, we'll keep it in mind. And didn't do nothing. But how can they also excuse those audio tapes, which they won't let us hear?
Raskin also highlights how the source of the information was at the center of a pressure campaign by Rudy Giuliani.
Okay, that's right. Shoot the messenger. It was a pressure campaign. Rudy Giuliani and all of this Russia collusion. They're doing the bidding. They're doing the bidding. Now, y'all ready for a little dose of McCarthyism? Watch these propagandists, these hitmen, come out and do some straight up McCarthyism. And it's going to come across so disingenuous. It's hard to watch. It's hard to look at them and say, wow, they got a horrible acting coach. This is about to be some of the worst acting you've ever seen.
In 2019 and 2020, on behalf of then President Trump. And when interviewed, the source directly denied these allegations.
I mean, this is still dossier squared for Republicans.
But none of that likely matters to Senator Grassley, who last month admitted, he said the quiet part out loud.
There it is. You see that Freudian slip? He admitted, said the quiet part out loud. The loud. Yeah. See, she knows she got line on the mind. When you got that line on the mind, it'll come out in time. So the line on the mind came out in time. I said it out loud. I mean, what those? Sorry, Mika. Okay, out loud. So let's hear what Grassley said out loud, according to her.
Didn't care if the allegations were true or not. Take a listen.
We aren't interested in whether or not the accusations against Vice President Biden are accurate or not. We're responsible for making sure the FBI does its job.
Cut right there. See, they didn't want that reel to roll a little bit longer because, see, it goes back to what I was just talking about. The confidential source said, here's the evidence, FBI. You should look into this. And they didn't. Grassley is saying, hey, look, we got this evidence. I'm worried about the FBI not looking into it. If they got that evidence, the stuff that I'm looking at, my job shouldn't be to have to go and verify this. The FBI should have done it, but they didn't. And that's a concern. But Meek and Joe don't want you to know that. They want it to look like Grassley's like, I don't care whether this is true or not. I'm just here to try to hurt Joe Biden. And so notice they cut him off before he started approaching the FBI conversation. So you see, I'm giving a little workshop of how these corrupt, stinking, dirty propagandists bought and paid for by the Democrat Party and others operate. They think we're stupid. They think we don't catch that. They think we're supposed to assume that that's all Grassley meant. Unbelievable. And now, here it is. Here comes a great acting job. All right, everyone, to your places, to your places. Joe and Mika prostituting themselves. Take one.
And for that, it was, again, to lie about a document.
Get it out.
At the time, they were talking about, I guess, impeaching Ray or whatever. Ray talked to him. And again, it's one thing after another. Durham, supposedly.
You hear this fool? Trying to fish for those lies? That man right there is casting. All right, let me see if I can come up with something that's going to make any sense. Again, I guess they're trying to. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. But you know what? There's always something. What are you talking about, Beaker? What I see is there's always something when it comes down to Trump. Constantly. I ain't show what they were talking about before they got to this part. But the whole first half of their show, which made me almost throw up just to get to this part, was talking about Trump. He did an interview up in here. Trump. You know what he said? And Trump. So here he is now talking about it's always something. It should have been more. It should have been more with Biden. But you talking about it's always something.
Is going to show this conspiracy between the FBI and Hillary Clinton. He makes a fool of himself. You have Comer time and time again, like talking about informants who end up being like Chinese agents or foreign. I don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah, you don't know exactly what they are because you are propaganda. This guy's out here talking about, you get these, why can't she say it? Whistleblowers, man. You're talking about all of this evidence, all of these accusations and stuff, none of them are credible. Did you look? Did you look into it, Beaker? Have you not seen the evidence that I saw and that I've read? He's making it seem like this is all made up. And this is all propaganda, and this is just nothing more than a witch hunt. So we're going to have to bring in Mark Levin to help Mika and Joe figure out what's really going on, because they're confused. Let's finish them out, and then we'll get to the great one.
But they're doing the business of the Chinese Communist Party illegally. They're funneling Iranian oil, smuggling it illegally to the communist Chinese. They're illegal arms dealers.
Forget Hunter Biden. Money from China, Romania, the Ukraine, Russia. You're getting diamonds, shine bright like a diamond. Getting diamonds and like that, cars and stuff like that, Porsches. Gifts, just gifts. So forget him and all of his overseas dealings. Forget him on that thing on the WhatsApp message shaking down China. And he's talking about they're bringing in these witnesses and they're working with China. They're doing the bidding of the Communist Chinese Party. Maybe he didn't read that message. Maybe he's not seeing all the money coming from China to the guy he's out there trying to defend. Maybe he didn't see that. So now Mark's going to have to help him see the light.
You go down the list. And then you've got these other people who are supposedly these IRS informants who basically get up there and go, yeah, it was actually Donald Trump. That when I was complaining, it was Donald Trump who was president then, and it was Trump's IRS and Trump's Justice Department in 2018. And
he ain't making no sense. That man has his eyes closed, just swinging. Like, I hope I hit something. Just digging up that. Then the whistleblowers, the IRS guy, there was Trump. Well, Trump under Trump. Wait, oh man, that's not making sense. Let me move to the next lie that I'm fishing for. This is crazy, man. But it's so obvious. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's great. You see just how fake these people are as you're watching this. Like, wow. I mean, if I would have watched this years ago before I've seen the light and realized that we do have a corrupt media, watching this, I might be going, well, I don't know much about politics, and it could be Donald Trump, I don't know. But now I can literally see that these two are 100% full-blown actors. They've been planted in that organization for times such as this, when the Democrats are in trouble, or the deep state want y'all to go out there and bury a story, undermine it, and undermine the credibility of anybody who exposes it. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're earning every dime of that prostitution money.
Here we have a document that, again, that's complete nonsense.
Look, the document is nonsense.
Chuck Grassley going, I don't care whether he's guilty or not. We're
complete nonsense. You're telling me the document that I just read the other day that Grassley released is complete nonsense. It's laughable, man. Listen to these people go, did he read the document that I would just, that man just said it's complete nonsense. And Grassley doesn't care if it's true or not. He just threw it out there for no reason.
We're just trying to create chaos.
That's all.
Right. The aim of all this is not to connect the dots. It's just to throw out a whole bunch of dots.
You see? Now, that is to sum up some beautiful projection right there. That man finished it up with, all right, projection on two. Blue 36. Hut. He hit us with some prediction. That's right. The goal is not to. So now he says it's just to throw out as many dots as possible, just like what we watched. All those dots that Joe was throwing out to get people trying to chase all of these fake undermining of these narratives. The thing of these people, it's crazy how crazy they are. They're always up to stuff that ain't verified nothing. Wait, we got the whistleblower. So much evidence that this man couldn't even keep that organized in his head. That's how much evidence we have to go on. And he tried to go through and discredit all of that, but it's too much. It's too much. Now he really reveals just how corrupt he is. You're sitting back telling me the whistleblowers are lying, the dang on documents are lying. You're telling me Grassley is just doing this for fun. You're telling me all of that and still trying to make it seem like, yeah, I really believe this. So
that don't connect.
Come on, great one. Close it out.
You saw a spectacle this past week that is one of the most grotesque spectacles I've ever seen in Congress. Two hearings about corruption, and the Democrat Party is all for it. They're all for corruption. They're all for FBI abuses. They're all for Department of Justice abuses. They're all for the Biden crime family. They're all for censorship. They go after Robert Kennedy Jr. They smear him. They smear his name. All for what? Because he's challenging Biden.
You know what? Mark got his focals on. He's smart. Mark, you're making me smart. Mark's making me smart. There it is. I put on my Mark Smart glasses. I too want to be like Mark Levin. So we got him saying the Democrats, they're okay with that. All of the things Mark Levin just mentioned, they're okay with that. They defend this stuff. They don't care if they look stupid or corrupt, defending obvious corruption. It's all about protect the party, protect the queen or the king. So now here we go. Mark's going to have to help Mika and Joe out.
They will do anything to protect Biden because they know he's a crook. They know the family's crooked. They know he's mentally incapacitated, but he's putting their agenda in place. The most radical agenda in American history, because he has put people throughout the government, old Obama holdovers and so forth, and they are doing their work on this country. They're killing it.
Is Mika and Joe watching that? Somebody go get Beaker. Somebody go get Beaker and Mika. I want to know if they're watching the great one right here. Because, see, this is some reporting. This right here is no acting. This man right here is feeling it. Mark's like, you feel me? You feel me? This man's dead serious. And you know why I know that? Because I'm aware of all the evidence and the facts that this man is laying down. And I'm not taking his personality. I'm not saying, well, just because he's a Republican or conservative. I'm able to agree with that and know that this man is sincere because I know about the evidence as well. And it is corrupt. And anybody with a brain and some integrity knows it's corrupt. So now when he's saying this, the reason I'm connecting with him and saying that guy's not faking this, because the evidence is real. See, you got to fake your emotions when you're trying to lie about the evidence, like what we just saw Mika and Joe doing. It didn't come across natural. The passion was really drummed up. All of the sarcasm and the over-the-top, all of that was acting. This man is dead serious, and so am I. Give it to him some more, Mark.
What have we learned over the last few weeks and the last few months, even longer, about the Biden family? I'm not going to complicate this with a whole bunch of names and dates and all the rest. Let's make it really simple. The Biden crime family, including the dog at the top, is accused of bribery, extortion, wire fraud, tax evasion, money laundering through shell corporations, conspiracy to do it all. They've received tens of millions of dollars from foreign governments and front corporations.
Whoa! You see this breakdown of all of this evidence? You see that Joe and Mika missed? Maybe they don't have good researchers over there at MSNBC. So bribery, extortion, wire fraud, tax evasion, money laundering, conspiracy, receiving tens and millions of dollars from foreign governments and front corporations. What about Trump? Oh, all them trumped up charges? All that made up bullcrap? But yet we got some heavy hitters right here. Heavy hitters. And we just heard Joe and Mika pretend that none of that even exists. And it's all in our minds. And we're overreacting. And we're chasing down ghosts. All of that. What else have they done, Mark?
Where is all that money? Is there not a report in America can answer? Where did your money go? Where is it? You're still hiding it. That's what's going on. Now, what is the source of this information that I just laid out?
Uh-oh. Now, wait a minute, Mark. You're about to go ahead and break down some sources. We just heard Mika and Joe and them say their sources don't matter because they're all arms dealers, and then the IRS guys, I don't know what they are, and we just heard that. So we better find out from somebody who knows what they're talking about what the sources are.
For you. Hunter Biden's laptop, emails, text messages, government records, bank records, suspicious activity reports, SARS, which the Treasury Department wouldn't turn over to Congress. They had to go to the banks to get them. FBI whistleblowers, IRS whistleblowers, material witnesses like Tony Bobolinsky and other business partners. That's pretty good stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that Mika and Funky Joe overlooked. All of that, all of those sources, did they go and track down any of that information? No. You think they went and looked at that laptop? No, because they don't want to know. They don't want to look at that mess and say, wow, I really feel like a prostitute now because I just read that. And yeah, it's obvious that he's corrupt, but I'm going to go out there and lie to the American people for a paycheck because I'm a prostitute. So there you have it. Now, how can you deny all of that? You see those sources? Here's the accusations. Here's a source for the accusations. And you're telling me all of those accusations and all of those sources mean nothing to Joe and Mika because they're paid propagandists. So those Democrats, if Joe is impeached, is going to have to overcome that mountain of real evidence to conclude that even though all that evidence is there and it's obvious that Joe's corrupt and all of these whistleblowers and stuff like that and the bank records and stuff, we find Creepy not guilty, because you know that's what they'll do, and not lose any sleep at night.
So nobody's making this up. And what has been the response? The Biden-controlled Department of Justice and FBI. Obstruction by the FBI and IRS. Interfering with their investigators. Preferential treatment. These are the accusations. Denial of search warrants. Slow-walking investigations. Tipping off Biden's Secret Service about searches. Preventing interviews of material witnesses. Blocking electronic search warrants to determine if Joe Biden really was sitting next to his son when his son was shaking down the communist Chinese official for $10 million.
So wait, Mark, is this the same son that Mika and Joe was over here just talking about how those whistleblowers were dealing with the Chinese and doing the bidding of the Chinese? while we got a full-blown WhatsApp message of Hunter Biden shaking down the Chinese. Huh? Tell me that Mika and Joe didn't overlook all that, right? So now, all that obstruction. You know the work and the effort that they all have to put in to make that go away. Look at all what they had to do. All of the obstruction, all of the slow walking, all of that. Using the fake news. That man is so guilty that they had to employ all of their resources, all of their corrupt networking to make this story either drag out or go away. And it's still rising to the top because that's how much evidence is out there. While Mika and Joe is talking about some, this is crazy. I don't even know what they're talking about, but I'm mad about it though.
They got at least $5 million within 2 weeks. Who is the final say on all this? Attorney General Merrick Garland and his Department of Justice, his senior officials, all Obamaites, all radical leftists. Every one of these whistleblowers has claimed that they've been retaliated against. Every single one of them in violation of federal law. They have a whistleblower statute. And yet no special counsel is appointed because Attorney General Garland is running an obstruction and cover-up operation.
Yep. That's why he's not going to bring any charges. Garlic is in on it as well. And mad at those whistleblowers who exposed the fact that his weasel butt came out. The prosecutor will have full jurisdiction to go in any direction that he would like to, and we found out that was a lie. Garlic stinks. He stinks. So now he's not going to come out and do anything about this overwhelming evidence that we all could prosecute.
Would be revealed if you appointed a special counsel. You appoint a special counsel, somebody from outside the government, and he has the right to go to any place in the country, any place in the world to hunt down leads, which is exactly what Garland does not want. Garland is a mob boss lawyer. That's what he is. And the person he's protecting is not only himself now, because he's part of it, is Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden is running for re-election. I like the way they say Trump's running for president so he can pardon himself. Joe Biden is running for re-election so he doesn't get indicted.
Yeah, he's trying to save his life. Yeah, every time you see him take the quick, slow jog and fall or something like that, that's him like a flashback, a thought, like, I'm about to be impeached and then prosecuted. Let's get out of here. Oh, God, I can't run anymore. See, that's what happens. It's probably him, the flight or fight response kicks in. I'm corrupt. I got to bounce. Oh, shoot, I can't go anywhere. Yeah, so that corruption then followed him into his old age. Now, the question becomes, how is it going to catch up with him and how long will it catch up? How long will it take to catch up? Because, see, what I don't want is that dude to kick the bucket before I see justice. Now, I know that sounds selfish, to want a man to stay alive just so you can see him go to jail. But, hey, I can't help it, man. That man's so corrupt, I need to see some justice. Don't drag this mess out and let him kick the bucket, okay? He need to pay in this life and then in the afterlife as well, if that's where he's going. But my point is this, to let this dude drag it out with a special counsel. You think Joe got 5 more years for that? By the time they actually bring him in, he'll be in a chair somewhere. Hey, Joe, what's your name? Creepy. No, Joe, your name's not Creepy. Chocolate chap. No, it's not that either. Sniffing hair. Oh, you know what? This isn't working. The defendant right here is obviously no longer in his right mind. I don't want that. I don't want that man to take that route. So do it quickly, okay? Hurry up, get on the ball. Time's a ticking, man. I need to see that man pay a price. And all of the folks supporting him need to go down with him. And so that's why Garlic is not doing anything, because Garlic covered it up too. So if Joe's butt has some type of heart attack or something, I'll be like, get out the way, everybody. I'm not going to lose him. He's too young. I want him to live until he reaches the stage of being jailed for all his corruption, or at least impeached. Let's continue.
Because the official position of the Department of Justice is you can't indict a sitting president. Joe Biden knows that if he stops this immunity and this protection as president, he will be facing multiple serious, legitimate, substantive felonies, and so will his family members. At the same time, Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate, prosecute, and make no mistake, in prison for the rest of his life, Donald Trump. he's covering up for Joe Biden. So he's got two paths going. Destroy Trump, interfere with the election, try to prevent him or any Republican from winning the presidency, hurting all the Republicans running for re-election or election in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. That's the goal.
Break this mess down, Mark. Break it down. Yep, there it is, y'all. And we see it so clear. But remember, guys, there is no two-tier justice system. That is not. And then you get dang on Raggedy Ray come out there. That's right. Listen up. The FBI does not. And I'm going to shut up. Both of you corrupt fools. Both of y'all need to be thrown in the same basket with Creepy and the crackhead. Because you're telling us there's no two justice. You appoint a special counsel by putting this guy on, which you're about to find out what he's about. Putting this guy in charge of that. Okay. And they're booking. They're booking. No time to lose. Because that election's coming up. But at the same time, slow walking Joe. Slow walking him. Tipping off folks. Hey, Creepy. They're coming after the crackhead. Yeah. You might want to doing stuff like that. So you best believe that those two are fighting for them lives too. And Christopher Wray, all of them, they know if Trump wins and he puts together the right people, this is what you can't do. If we win, don't be talking about we're going to take the high road. We should have learned from Hillary. I know he got in. He said, you know what? Let's let that go. Hoping that these fools would just take the loss and would act like they got some sense and go somewhere and sit down. But no, they're going to go after him after losing. And they got all that corruption just piled up on him. But they also had the backing of the fake news and the social media platforms and stuff like that. And they had already set the tone. Trump's going to go after his political enemies soon as he gets in office. He should have. Now looking back, I'm like, he should have went after Crooked. He should have straight up brought the district attorney in and said, I want you to look into her immediately right now. Open up an investigation. He should have did that. And if he gets in this time, go right after all of them. Don't take the high road. Don't say, well, you know what? We won back the presidency. These folks have to go down. The whole organization, the whole cabal. And I'm talking about the institutions that are in place to support them. That means FBI can't be still sitting in there doing intel. Take away all their toys. Don't let them be on computers and stuff and have access to being able to set you up and sabotage and listen in on that. Get rid of any agency that can sabotage you. That's what I'm saying. Under the executive branch, all of those branches that right now can't be trusted, not only when it comes down to the president, but with us. I don't want them snooping around, man. I don't want FBI agents talking about let's get online and see how many of these folks are Trump supporters. I don't want that. And I would hope that Trump wouldn't want to be worried about a knife stabbing him in the back because you leave these people still hanging around. There was a purpose in the Old Testament when God would say, go into a country. It might have sounded cruel or not. I mean, it might have sounded cruel. However, there was a point to it when he would say, go into a nation that's an enemy and destroy everything. Don't bring back nothing. Don't spare the chickens. Don't bring a piece of gold back. Wipe everything out. You got to clear the house. Got to clear it. Because if you don't, it will come back to bite you. You talking about, well, you know what? It's just a little boy right there. That boy grows up and he's going, I remember what you did to my family and them. See, and now you got an enemy. So there's a lesson to be learned in that. When it comes down to these people, they done bit you already. These institutions have bit you and bit us. So they got to go. Period. Then this way you don't have to be up at night talking about, wonder what they're doing over there at Langley. Wonder if they're listening in on my phone calls.
So Garland chose Jack Smith for a reason. Jack Smith is not a real prosecutor. He's a hitman. He's America's barrier.
Well, you know what, Jack? You ain't that. You ain't all that, Jack. Now we got a real hitman that hits the hitman. Mark Levin is the real hitman. Get him, Mark.
Was Stalin's hitman. Garland chose Smith precisely because Smith is unethical, he's dishonest, he's treacherous. What? When he ran the public integrity section of the criminal division, it was Jack Smith who signed off on the IRS's unconstitutional attack on the Tea Party groups under Obama. He has wiretapped conversations between targets of his investigation. Representative Renzi has pointed out. So he has wired attorney-client conversations between attorneys and their client. Smith was brutally admonished by a federal judge in this case. All the so-called evidence was thrown out, and that judge said, I wish I could do a lot more to you than just kill the evidence.
Wow. So Garlic brings in a corrupt prosecutor that we see is doing all of this stuff and have a track record of doing this. Kind of like up there in New York, that other corrupt prosecutor is talking about, if I get elected, I'm going to be a pain in Donald Trump's butt. That's right. I'm going to be all up in his mix. I'm going to be subpoenaing. These are the type of prosecutors that they're relying on. See, when you look at the Democrats, man, they play so dirty. I mean, it takes everything in you to play above their level of corruption, to keep your integrity, to not get down in the muck and the mire with them. That's why we got to rely on actual facts, evidence, and consistency, and staying together as a unit. These folks operate like a snake, man. Always, everybody's just right in sync. Republicans got to fight, but not dirty, just consistent and aggressively, like I'm seeing so far. But there's still some things I think they could do that they haven't done yet.
So-called evidence that you acquired. So he's constantly piercing attorney-client privilege, as he's done against President Trump with the help of an Obama lawyer who served as a judge. He used that same tactic against Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell and used them with the grand jury. Took this information, as I'm sure he did with Trump, goes to the grand jury. He owns the grand jury. Okay. No witness has a right to a lawyer there. They spoon-feed this stuff to the grand jury. Wow. Look what his own lawyer said. Look what he said to his own lawyer, all of which is supposed to be protected. So
wow. Mark, see, that's the problem. That's why he's the great one. See, sometimes you need a beast to kill a beast. Mark Levin's coming out showing that this prosecutor has been handpicked because he's corrupt. That's why he was saying. It's kind of like how Joe Biden got rid of the legitimate prosecutor over in Ukraine. They installed somebody who's legit. There it is. Let's put somebody in who's corrupt and would do my bidding. Same thing here. So Jack Smith, who is talking about his life and thing, he don't want Trump running around saying bad things about him because people might want to hurt him or something like that. Ain't nobody thinking about you. What they're thinking about is all of your past corruption, and then they stick you on this case right here. Hit job. So Mark, you go ahead and counter the hit job, okay?
Well, he violates the 5th and 6th Amendment routinely. Due process and the right to an objective jury. Oh. And he is known, Smith, for massive leaks. Several Sundays ago, I showed you this thick, a package of leaks to CNN, to the New York Times, to the Washington Post. I limited it to those 3. Over the past 6 months, there were 40 material leaks.
Where'd they come from, Mark? Where'd they come from? You mean to tell me he's walking around just leaking all over the place? So now, if leaking is illegal and they're coming out of your department, why aren't you mad? See, that's my question. Why aren't you mad? So you're telling me you're running a department that just, like the FBI, they always play dumb? Oh, well, I had no idea that was going on. I'll look into it, which their sources and methods, internal matter, all of that mess. Reason you're not interested in finding out who's doing that stuff and holding them accountable is because you told them to do it. That's why. So now all of this leaking, where is it coming from, Mark? It's unbelievable. I mean, the fake news must have some type of hacking material to go in and figure out things that nobody else should know but the FBI or the DOJ or whatever. It's kind of like when CNN showed up early in the morning at Roger Stone's house. What did they do? Did they hack the FBI? Oh, all right, I'm in. The FBI is about to invade right now. Let's get over there. Or did somebody leak that? Just like they've been leaking all of this stuff. We got a troll in the house. Somebody get the troll. Where's the troll? Speak to me. Reveal yourself, troll. Reveal yourself. Now, I just saw somebody say, Mark is pissed off. Well, so am I too. Pissed off, man. I'm pissed off, man. I feel like Chris Tucker.
It had to come from the government because the information had to come from the government, and it was intending to help the government to create the whole atmosphere around these cases. So I showed you that material. It's available on the public record. McDonnell, Renzi say exactly the same thing happened to them. Information was leaked. Here we have a piece in the Washington Times by Jeff Murdoch. Mr. Smith's conviction against former Virginia Governor Robert McDonnell, a Republican accused of accepting payments and gifts in violation of federal public corruption laws, was overturned by the Supreme Court. Why? Because what he did to the bribery statute was outrageous. They said, wait a minute, anything could be bribery under your interpretation, but he doesn't care.
He doesn't care, just like the Democrats, where they broaden the scope, where they stretch it out, sit back talking about some Yeah, these classified documents. Now, all of a sudden, all of the previous cases, all of the previous evidence, it doesn't matter. Now they stretch it out. Now they broaden it. Anything at this point can get you thrown in jail for classified documents. Anything. He took a pencil home. He violated the same thing with the FARA, whatever that thing is, the overseas dealing with. Now, we done got all these Democrats who've been violating that, like creepy. It's crackhead. That guy dealing with foreign entities without registering. I forget what it's called. But they've been doing this for years. Now all of a sudden, Trump comes along. They want to throw his folks in jail, but leave the crackhead out. Leave the crackhead out. So there we have it. So that's what they do. They will bend and twist all type of laws and rules to make it fit and be applicable to their corruption in that moment.
He's a hitman. The case against former Senator John Edwards of North Carolina, Democrat presidential candidate, accused of illegally using campaign cash to conceal his mistress and love child, and with a hung jury and a mistrial. The jury said, wait a minute, how is that an illegal campaign contribution? It wasn't.
It wasn't, because Jack Smith tried to make it seem like that and fit it in. Then they tried to do the same thing with Trump, and that didn't work. Another indictment. Let's indict him for all of this. He paid off Stormy Daniels. All of that stuff. You see how it works, guys? These folks, they're not interested in truth. They're not interested in justice. They're interested in protecting their own interest, their own people, their own power. That's what they're interested in. And if they have to destroy the Constitution, just ravage the dang on Bill of Rights and your civil liberties, they'll do it.
So first we have a Supreme Court that stopped Smith. Now we have a jury that stopped Smith. He also prosecuted Robert Menendez. Many of you remember the case, but you don't remember what happened in the case. He's a Democrat. He was accused of taking bribes. It collapsed. There was a mistrial. Why? Because, again, he took the bribery statute and read it so expansively that the jury said, wait a minute, that can't be bribery. And
y'all hear? You see how they try to just fit everything into, try to contort it? Somebody said FARA violations. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, FARA violations. Yeah, so you see, they're reading it broad and trying to make it appear that somehow this covers what we're accusing him of. How so? Oh, you want me to you want me to stick to like something specific? Oh, well, it's hard to get specific when you're making crap up. So they read it so broadly that even the jury's like, no, wait a minute. This is pretty broad right here. You're trying to fit a square into a circle.
There's other cases to this effect involving the former New York Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver, who died in prison. But when he loses cases, he brings them again, because this is what he knows. You pile up enough charges against an individual, you'll find a jury somewhere to at least convict him of one. This is diabolical, absolutely diabolical. He's an extremely dishonest individual. And while we're at it, Judge Cannon just ruled that the trial is going to begin in the documents case, not in December, as Mr. Smith wanted, but in May.
See? You don't get nothing past Levin, man. So now, once again, stupidity. All of these charges thrown at Trump, all of them. And then we're coming up to campaigning season, prime time, May, and then they want to go ahead and have a trial. Any thoughts of why they picked that time? This is election interference. That's what that is. I'm waiting for the trial of dang on Creepy Sleepy. And if the Republicans do not impeach, I'm going to be so mad. Because do the same thing. But the difference is you have a legitimate reason. Tie him up, even though he ain't going to be campaigning anyway. He'll be sitting in the basement somewhere. But tie him up too. Dang on it.
May, smack in the middle of the election. The whole purpose of what's going on here is to interfere with the election.
It ain't right,
to protect Biden from scrutiny, criminal investigation, to protect him, to get him reelected. That's what the Democrat Party wants. That's why they trashed Robert Kennedy Jr. That's what they want. And at the same time, on a second path, to destroy who they believe would be the nominee, or at least potentially Donald Trump. They have the DA in Manhattan working on it, the DA in Atlanta working on it, the Attorney General in New York working on it. They had the two grand juries in Washington, D.C. They're looking at January 6th. Pile it on.
And yet we heard Joe and Mika talking about if it's one thing, it's one thing after another. And they're always going after Joe Biden. Are you kidding me? Do you hear all them DAs? Do you hear all of these people with no evidence, no case, but just making crap up, trying to, fit somehow it in? Trump violated something. There's this one stature from 1802. Wait, no, that won't work. All right, let's see if we can find something else to stop him. All right, what 14th? Yeah, all right, there's the 14th Amendment. That one was that done. Okay, how can we make it? So let's start using words like insurrection, and then we'll come up with some stuff and say that Trump was the insurrectionist. What? We don't have anything on record of him saying anything about insurrection, and instead we actually have him saying, "Go over and let your voices peacefully be heard." That's going to be hard to overcome. What else can we say then? Wait a minute. So Nancy Pelosi turned down 10 to 20,000 troops that would have stopped that insurrection. Whew, going to be a tall mountain to climb. We better utilize the fake news and some corrupt prosecutors. That's what we better do to try to convert and manipulate and pervert what Trump said and make it sound like he launched an insurrection. So all of these people working to stop this man, but yet we got all of these whistleblowers working and risking their lives to expose Joe, and nothing's happening.
We need is one out of hundreds of charges. All we need is one to stick in front of some Democrat jury. And Judge Cannon, in Florida, you let the country down. This trial should have been moved till after the election. You just gave your imprimatur and the imprimatur of the federal judiciary to the interference in this election. Furthermore, you haven't even looked into a matter which you have the right to look into without any motion from defense counsel involving an extortion that took place. Extortion? What am I talking about? Stanley Woodward, an attorney for Mr. Naughton, who's the co-defendant in this documents case, said a prosecutor on Mr. Smith's team, and this is a guy who walked into Judge Cannon's court the other day. He's the head of the counterintelligence section. He's really the guy, in part, the right hand to Smith, who's pushing this agenda. So that guy walked into court this week and argued for certain motions, against certain motions by the defense on classified information, when his butt should have been thrown out of that courtroom.
That's right. Throw his butt right out of that courtroom. Butt first. I want to see him land butt first. Literally by the back of the pants and the back of the shirt, and throw him out like a cartoon character. Throw him out like the Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff. Throw him out. So now he goes in to try to get someone to turn on Trump. I think it might have been the other guy that they're trying to prosecute. And he went, I guess, to the other, well, I guess that guy's attorneys, and was like, if you can get your boy to turn on Trump, then we might be able to cut a deal. Now, wait a minute.
From why? Stanley Woodward, an attorney for Mr. Naughton, said a prosecutor, that prosecutor I just mentioned, on Mr. Smith's team, trying to secure cooperation from his client, in other words, to become a witness for the state, said that Mr. Woodward's application for a judgeship in Washington would be considered more favorably if he and his client turned against Mr. Trump. Mr. Woodward has filed a complaint with the chief U.S. judge in Washington alleging prosecutorial conduct.
Wow. You see the dirt? You see the, Mark's mad because that judge didn't even look into that matter. What are you doing going over there, meeting with this lawyer talking about, I can cut your boy a deal if he turns on Trump? I hope this dude has a spine. I hope whoever the guy is that they're trying to get to turn on Trump just says, you know what? I'm going to go down with the ship. I'm going to hit him with the Roger Stone. I'm going to hit him with the Mike Flynn. Just go down with the ship, and Trump gets in, he'll pardon me, and then go after these bums. Because that's what they're up to, trying to finagle their way into coming up with some bogus stuff about Trump. What else, Mark?
In other words, the right-hand man to Smith, according to this allegation, extorted the lawyer for the co-defendant to turn state's evidence against Donald Trump. You have a federal judge in Florida, putting everything else aside, who's going to go forward with the case. Doesn't she want to know what took place here?
She should.
We're waiting for an Obama judge in Washington, D.C., who are notoriously anti-Trump and pro-Biden, to resolve this matter. It's all being done in secret. The McDonald case, Virginia. Prosecutors filed charges against the former governor's wife and promised to drop the charges if she would testify against her husband.
So this ain't the first time they done this crap? That's what Smith's about? Unbelievable.
You know that? That's Mr. Smith. The government promised to pay $25,000 to Philip Aries, the cooperating witness in the Congressman Renzi case that was being handled by Mr. Smith. The prosecutors invoked his testimony more than 90 times during closing arguments. Mr. Aries said he did not receive one thin dime for his cooperation. He's cooperating with the government. He's promised 20.
Okay, see. Now, during the trial, he's like, I ain't received no money from them yet. Do y'all see? This is how foul these folks are. So they was going to pay a dude $25,000 to, I guess, turn state on whomever they were trying to go after. And when it came out, the guy's defense was, well, I ain't got nothing from these people. Until when?
$5,000. Weeks before Congressman Renzi's Supreme Court petition, Mr. Aries emailed a prosecutor, I want my $25,000.
Wait a minute. Then we find out that, oh, well, you getting something. Yeah, just hold up for a minute. We're going to hook you up. That man was like, I want my money. That's what they're about.
He said he would like, because it's like winning the lottery. You believe this? Although the FBI promised the payment, Mr. Renzi said Mr. Smith's team was aware of the deal and never told the defense team. Really? So what you see here is the most unethical tactics imaginable, violation of law while claiming to be enforcing the law. Yeah, these people should be losing their law license. Yes, they should. Tell me, when it comes to January 6th, why did Mr. Smith give a target letter to President Trump's lawyers on a Sunday night? Why? Because he's a sick SOB, that's why.
Oh, you messing with the great one, man. You think he come to play? You think that man come out here pooting and farting around? Mark's throwing jabs, man. Hooks, uppercuts, and elbows too. Rear naked. Shh, go to sleep. Shh, don't fight it. Don't fight it. Putting folks to sleep. So he's a corrupt, crooked SOB. I concur, Mark. Let's continue as he closes.
He's a hitman. And why were the contents of that letter, which were known only by the government and President Trump's 2 or 3 lawyers, leaked to Rolling Stone within 48 hours?
I don't know. How could that have happened? I would think only a few people have access to that letter, right, Mark? So that means if Smith's letter that was leaked to Rolling Stones, are you kidding me? This is unbelievable, man. You know, that's about as bad as Hunter leaving his laptop in the laptop repair shop. And you're telling me you're that incompetent? It's like, where'd you leave it? The repair shop. Nowhere secure. And you're going to send that leak to Rolling Stones. But yet all of a sudden you don't have no accountability for it. You don't know how it got over to the Rolling Stones. You think Rolling Stones hacked y'all's system or database? No, he leaked it. And if he didn't leak it, that means he should be mad about it. Here he is sending a subpoena. Then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, how'd that get to Rolling Stone? Hey, Frank, come here. Come here, Frank. I sent you over there to drop it off. You did it? You're telling me, Frank, nobody touched, you didn't let nobody see it or nothing? No, sir. Well, Frank, you're the last person with it. That shouldn't be leaked. Frank, you're fired. That's what should happen. See, because you should be able to track down that information. Where did it go? How did it get over there? Nobody should have access to that except a few people.
Because that's what Mr. Smith does. January 6th is not a criminal issue as applies to President Trump. It's not a criminal matter as applies to President Trump. Okay. Congress decides which electors to count or if to count them at all. If 2 slates of electors are sent from a state, they're allowed to do that. Why? Because Congress sorts it out when they all meet. So you have Democrats who jump up and down in every legitimate election. In 2004, trying to stop George W. Bush from being president because they didn't want to count electors. You have them in 2016 jumping up and down, trying not to count electors for President Trump.
Yeah, but now that's illegal. Now they want to prosecute electors who might not verify elections immediately. Now they want to do it. Yet we watched them on that floor bringing up every stupid excuse ever not to verify the election under Trump. That people are terrified. That's your argument? At least we had legitimate reasons. Yeah, well, we shouldn't verify this because we saw people boarding up windows. We saw numbers changing overnight when Trump was winning. Stuff like that. We saw people come out and swear under oath that these folks cheated. We saw people on camera spending the night and down there in Atlanta swiping, pulling out big boxes and swiping. We saw that. We saw y'all shutting down joints, and then in the morning come, all of a sudden, miraculously, Biden's on top. So we had legitimate reasons. Them people are terrified. That's the reasons they were talking about. The Russians. Trump's a Russian agent. Stuff like that.
Raskin leading the charge, by the way. He's a complete fraud. Complete joke. And they've done it before. It was done in Hawaii, sent 2 sets of electors. Parties are allowed to do this because they cannot be 100% sure in some very close races of the outcome. Or maybe they think the outcome was fraudulent. Congress has a right to look into these things. Not a grand jury, not a rogue prosecutor, not a Democrat party-controlled executive branch looking for ways to destroy their opponent. And
thank you for educating us, Mark, because see, Here I am walking around thinking that all of these accusations are breaking the law and he's corrupt. And so you're telling me none of those things that they're trying to accuse him of are actually violations of the law? These are legitimate processes, but the Democrats don't like them. And the Democrats are going to try to make these legitimate processes and reactions appear to be criminal now and try to apply it to Trump, even though they themselves have violated every single one of the things that they're trying to accuse Trump of. That's what you're telling me? This is going to be interesting, y'all.
Destroy the Republican Party? Now we have an attorney general in Michigan who's indicted a dozen or so of these so-called counter-electors for daring to be counter-electors. What is that? It's also not a crime to ask supporters to peacefully lobby Congress about the election results. It's also not a crime to ask a Secretary of State in Georgia to find votes. It's also not a crime to urge state legislators to help your campaign. It's not a crime to follow your lawyer's legitimate advice. It's not a crime to exercise your free speech rights and ask people to peacefully assemble. It's not a crime to ask the Vice President of the United States to follow your interpretation of the Constitution, whether people like it or not. And this is
whether people like it or not. Mark, you the man. That's right, man. You deserve that title, brother. Great when it comes down to politics. You're not going to get a better brain and a better person who knows what they're talking about than Mark Levin. So all of this stuff we've been hearing about Trump and the prosecutors and the indictments and all of that stuff, you're telling me none of that was a crime. And what they are going to try to do is go ahead and get that big circle, take it over there to that square, and try to push it down in there somehow. They're going to go ahead and try to convince us, just like they did with the phone call that we all heard and looked around and said, I don't see what the problem is. And yet those fools came out there trying to pretend that something's wrong with that call, only to find out that he was right. Same thing with J6 and the whole J6 committee and the impeachment after J6. All of that stuff wasn't a crime. Can't even tell you what Trump said. Cut that off. Notice when during that trial, all of that stuff, they didn't want you to hear the rest of what Trump said when he said, go over and let your voices peacefully be heard, because that absolves him of any accusations of an insurrection. But they tried to manipulate and fit that in there to make it make sense somehow to only bubbleheads. Lucky we're not walking around going.
This is the one individual, Trump, who offered 10,000 armed Army reservists to protect the Capitol building. It was the Democrats and McConnell who turned it down. And in the morning of January 20th, he left office, period. There was never any insurrection. That is a complete lie. It's always been a lie. So judges and juries have had to stop this prosecutor. And I'm concerned already with Judge Cannon that perhaps all the threats and all the writings and the articles trying to intimidate and pressure her to turn her courtroom over to Merrick Garland, Jack Smith, and the other reprobates who are destroying our electoral system has taken place. She needs to step up. She needs to stand up against this, or it'll be abundantly clear that Mr. Garland, Mr. Smith have dragged the judiciary into their obstruction of an election.
There you have it. So, y'all, this judge in Florida, I mean, she's under a lot of pressure. That's another one of their tactics. One of their tactics is, you know what? Let's go after anybody who supports or might come across as an ally to Trump. This is one of those big, fat, dirty tactics. It is, let's go after his support, his supporters. Let's go after his family members. Let's go after his friends. Let's punish everybody that is trying to do the right thing. Let's demonize them. Anybody who would be willing to stand in our way of destroying this man, go after him. Go after their character. You know, forget the law. Forget that this person's a judge and they're trying to do the right thing. We don't care about doing the right thing. We care about our agenda. And that is why Roe v. versus Wade, all of a sudden you get Clarence Thomas somehow. He's a white nationalist, I guess, and all that mess. See, they don't care about the law. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about truth. They care about their power and their agenda. And they will destroy anybody in the way. And they want to do that to Trump to the degree that folks are scared to even be around him. I mean, they have to understand once he wins, whoever comes into the cabinet is going to have to realize you also become public enemy number one, just by association. But I'm okay with that. All right. I'd rather hang out with folks that are right than to hang out with the folks that are wrong. Dang on it. Let's get ready to get out of here. Because I decided to take a stand. Not knowing I'd lose my best friends. Y'all know the song. John to the P. But I'd rather live right. Tell them, John. Than in hell to lift up my eyes. And all of God's children just stand. Y'all know the word. Oh, Lordy. Now, hit that like button. Share my videos. Make sure you subscribe to my chat network there. And what else? Check me out on Twitter, Rumble, all that good stuff. And subscribe to my other alternative channel, y'all. Because we taking, you know what? I'm grading tonight. Remember last week, y'all, I was like, okay, y'all, we over here. We made a come up on how many subscribers I got over here on my alternative channel. Because I want to post over there, but I want y'all to be able to go and check it out. So I'm about to see. Here we go. I think the last number was 755. Well, we came up a little, guys. We're at 771. Why can't we crack 1,000, y'all? So please subscribe to my Stop and Think About It. Once I do that, I'm going to start posting over there. And y'all who have subscribed will get access to some alternative videos that I might not post on this channel. Plus, at 1,000, I'll be able to monetize that channel. Right now, I can't monetize it. So if you can, please go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Because I'm going to check. Next time we get together, I'm going to be like, all right, y'all, who didn't subscribe? I want to see you in my office. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can do that through my PayPal, my Cash App, or the Super Chat. And those that gave in the Super Chat, thank you so much. So let's get out of here, and we're going to see what happens to Creepy and the Crackhead, okay? Hopefully they'll go down, but I won't hold my breath. Yeah. See y'all next.